Sheriff Mike Carona, you've hit the international news and national news lately, and now you're here with Arnold Schwarzenegger today for a big event about what is it, Prop 49?
Prop 49.
Can you tell us a quick viewpoint on why people should vote for Prop 49?
Prop 49 is a good investment in the youth of not only Orange County but of California. I can tell you here in Orange County we've been working with after-school programs, coupling up with the private sector, and for every $1 that we've invested in after-school programs between 3 and 6, we've saved $7 on the criminal justice side of it, because the vast majority of juvenile crimes is committed between the hours of 3 and 6, and by kids that don't have a place to go. By providing them after-school programs, they're engaged with mentors, they're engaged with after-school sports, and frankly that changes their lives and keeps them out of the criminal justice system. What Mr. Schwarzenegger's now doing is taking it to a broader level in the state of California, and he's actually mandating that those costs be absorbed by the state budget, and we see that as a good investment in our future.
Well, let me ask you this. Everybody's wanting to know, they think that maybe you and Arnold are going to be on a major ticket here coming up here pretty soon.
Well, right now Arnold and I are focused on getting Prop 49 passed, and I'm sure there'll be life after Sheriff, and there'll be something after Terminator 3, but he and I haven't had that discussion yet, and it'll be down the road.
Well, we want to congratulate you for all the things you've done in the past, and certainly about all the way you've been handling the Orange County business here for some time. Well, thank you so much for joining us on The Cutting Edge.
Thank you very much.
strategic resolutions and issues critical to the Hispanic community. We are a select group of Hispanic business and civic leaders, CEOs and presidents of the largest Hispanic Orange County-based firms and companies, or the highest ranking Hispanic at a multi-million-dollar public company or public agency. We have elected to focus on the issue of education during this election cycle, and just 10 days before today's election, we have decided to host this education forum with 3 very important speakers. It's surprising, at least it was to me, to find that the California Department of Education released recently the exit polls of the pass-fail rates of the students that are coming out of high school. And you may be surprised as I am that 70% of the Hispanic students who took this exam failed. And that is why we as an organization and we as a country have to start applying our best skills and our attention to the improvement of the educational system. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in welcoming today's Masters of Ceremony, one of the co-founders of the Hispanic 100, and managing partner of Banking Cruz, Mr. John Cruz.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here to serve you the Master of Ceremonies today and to welcome old friends and new friends alike. To begin our program, I'd like to welcome to the podium co-founder Manuel Padilla, and he will lead us in the invocation today. Please bow our heads. To introduce our first speaker today, I'd like to welcome to the podium Hispanic co-founder, Mr. David Padilla.
Buenas tardes. Hello, Educational Excellence for Hispanic Americans. This commission is an initiative that the President takes very seriously, as was made clear in his recent visit here to Santa Ana. Its mission is to develop a multi-year action plan aimed at closing the educational achievement gap between Hispanic Americans and their peers. Leslie was selected by the President to be the Executive Director for this effort, which is so important to our community and to our children. She was selected because of her long dedication of advocating for Hispanics on education. Ms. Sanchez's career is a remarkable Latina success story. Last year, she was named one of the 100 most influential Hispanics in the October 2001 Hispanic Business Magazine. The Hispanic 100 thanks her for her time today. Please welcome Ms. Leslie Sanchez.
Good afternoon to all of you, our friends. For my Spanish-speaking friends, buenas tardes amigos y amigas. I'm very glad to be here. It's an honor to be back in what I feel is my second home now of California. I'm a native Texan, but it's so fun to come here and see so many friends, so many people that are committed to raising the educational achievement of Latino students. And in a state like California, you're leading the charge, and it's done by the business community. So thank you to all of you. Thank you for the invitation. And I really welcome the opportunity. I'm delighted to be here on behalf of President George W. Bush. As you know, he's very busy these days, working on a variety of different things, but he specifically saw what California was doing, and specifically our friends here, Mario Rodriguez, Manuel Ramirez, Mr. Schwarzenegger, the work that you're doing to put together partnerships and look at innovative ways to ensure that Latino students, that all students, are given that quality education is something that he has asked that we look at across the country, that we look at these best practices and these model programs. The President signed an executive order a year ago, a little over a year ago, on October 12, 2001. It was almost a month after September 11th. And it was the first piece of non-terrorism legislation and an actual business that he did at the White House. Some of our friends were at that meeting. And at that ceremony that was held in the East Room, he said, I'm signing this order because I want to ensure that every Hispanic child has an opportunity for a quality education. Para todos que viven en este país. And he said, regardless of where they were born, regardless of what language they speak, and regardless of their understanding of this educational system in America that is really open to everybody, he wants to make sure that gap is closed. But the reason he did this is because there's a dramatic crisis in education today. 1 out of every 3 Hispanic students is dropping out of school. He's dropping out of high school. They feel that there's no future for them. In some communities that we visited across the country, that number is 6 out of 10. 2 out of every 3 fourth graders cannot read at basic proficiency. And our 12th graders in this country right now are the lowest ranking in any industrialized nation in math and science. It's a crisis not only for minority children, but for all children all along the educational spectrum. And what we're finding are, there are model programs, there are leaders like yourselves who are coming together to raise that academic achievement, and he's asked that this commission look at what those programs are doing. It's a commission that must present a report to the president by March 31st. We're working very diligently. We held a town hall meeting here in Huntington Park. I think some of our friends from Huntington Park. We had 750 Spanish-speaking parents come and speak to us, and they would cry, they would share their experiences about what they felt the struggles were within their community. Let me also tell you, this is a school district where 1,400 students start in the 9th grade and 500 graduate at the end of the 12th grade. It's a dramatic situation of what is happening, but let me tell you some of the things that we do know. We do know that throughout the country there are about 5 different areas that we've seen high academic performance and low income, high minority schools. Those are when you have very high expectations. When you have parents and leaders in the community who really believe that all children are capable of learning and all children are capable of college or post-secondary degree. We have role models in the community that ensure that these students are in safe environments, that they're nurtured all along the educational process. We also have parental involvement, and that is something that we're hearing a lot about right now, and I know we're working very hard on that, is making sure that everybody comes to the table and understands what our role is in that. With Spanish-speaking parents particularly, it's a unique challenge. So many immigrant families come to this country and do not understand the U.S. educational system. We're reaching out to them to look at ways to make that work. The other element they have is exposure to college. These are students that see some level or have some access to individuals like yourself and have some idea and understanding that college is a reality. I grew up in Corpus Christi, Texas, in Houston. I filled out my financial aid forms, and we did an impromptu survey at the White House, with the Hispanic staff at the White House, and we said, how many of you filled out your own financial aid forms? And 89% of us raised our hand. Most of us were the first in our family to ever go to college. I sold encyclopedias door to door to earn money to go to college. So it's really a reality of the Hispanic families that many of us are the caregivers and the providers of our own families. And that's a unique thing that the President and this Congress and this administration is going to have to look at, is that we don't have traditional families in the sense we have working families, children that are working for the family, children that need to earn an income, children that need to see that there is an opportunity in this country for them to have a quality education. And the final element of that is what the President is pushing very diligently right now, and that's implementation of No Child Left Behind. We have some supporters here in this room of No Child Left Behind. It's the most sweeping education reform in this country in the last 3 decades. It actually ensures there's accountability with dollars. It ensures parents have options. It ensures there's local control and flexibility. Because what's happening in Irvine and the unique needs here are so different from what's happening in adulthood. So that's the kind of flexibility, that's the kind of understanding that our legislators are moving to implement, and that's going to make the most dramatic change in our country. But I want to leave you with kind of a story. Yesterday, we were visiting a little elementary school, Our Lady of Guadalupe in Oxnard, which is a tiny little school in Lavalio. So most of you know what that is. It's a very it's a low-income community, it's a Spanish-speaking community, and very poor. And there were all these little bright faces and numerous children who were so excited about reading, and we're one of the highest performing schools in the county. And we asked them, what are you doing? What are you doing so differently? And they said, we focus on the basics, we focus on reading, we focus on writing. But each of those children is a significant amount of time, and so many people are watching every individual child in that school. And it's amazing. We have parental involvement. They track how every single child is doing every week, every day. And you know, so you don't get to the end of the semester and have to guess at how well your students are doing if you left anything behind. That is the solid foundation. That's the theme behind it. We know how our children are doing. And the business is coming to the table to offer the resources, the mentoring, the technology, the after-school programs to really close that divide, especially for underserved communities. So thank you for coming to the table. You are the leaders. You are setting the example. You're inspiring many of us. We're looking to you for model programs. We're looking to you for guidance. And I cannot tell you what an honor it is to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. We're very proud of the job you're doing in Washington.
You get it. Very good. Thank you. Well, I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your day to be with us. I also want to thank Hispanic 100 for the leadership they've shown not only in this area, but in public policy around the state of California. It's a group of Latino activists that got together that have a vision that given the changing demographics in this country, they could be the voice of reason. They could be the voice of the future. And they're individuals who really pull together so that we can have opportunities like this to debate and discuss issues that impact America. One of those is my Chief of Staff, George Jaramillo, and I'd like you to give him a round of applause. Today you're going to hear from three individuals who will share with you why education is so critically important, not only for our Latino youth, but for youth across this country. You've heard from Ms. Sanchez, who is a nationally recognized leader in the education community. You'll hear from a friend of mine who is a father and a child advocate and has done that for the last decade. Yeah, he's also known as a movie star. And you hear from the cop. The first two make a lot of sense as to why you would want to listen to them. The third, I'm sure you question, why would a cop be talking to you about education? Let me share with you some numbers. I was pretty good at math at school, and it's probably why I ended up with an organization that has a $500 million budget. But let me throw out some numbers to you that I think illustrate why law enforcement, why a cop, is so concerned about education. 800,000, 80,000, 2.2 million, 6,000, 16 to 25, 3 to 6, 1 to 7. Now, those numbers by themselves really don't mean much to them. So let me put a little structure behind it for you. 800,000, that's the number of kids in Orange County currently who are below the age of 18. 80,000, that's the number of kids in Orange County who live below the poverty level. 80,000 kids in this county, one of the richest in the world, live below the poverty level. 2.2 million. That's the number of individuals that we have in our nation's prisons and jails. We now surpass Russia. We're incarcerating the greatest number of people in any nation in the world. 6,000. The number of men and women who are in my jail, the Orange County Sheriff's Department jail. I run the 6th largest jail in America. 16 to 25. The vast majority of crime that's committed in America committed by males between the ages of 16 and 25. 3 to 6. That's the prime time for those young people who are in their most crime-prone years. We commit crime, violent crime. You get involved with drugs, you get involved with gangs. You make life-altering decisions that put them into that larger number of 2.2 million that end up in our prisons and jails. 1 to 7. For every dollar that you invest in an after-school program to deal with that most at-risk population during that most at-risk time, returns $7 to us. It's an incredible financial investment. Now, I don't say that anecdotally. I can tell you there's empirical evidence behind it. I can tell you here in Orange County, we beta tested the program that Mr. Schwarzenegger is now trying to expose to the entire state of California, and I hope to the entire nation. That for every dollar, private dollar that has been invested in Boys and Girls Clubs, there's a $7 return. These are kids who do not come into the criminal justice system. These are kids who now see themselves as having value, not see themselves as being part of the problem. It literally turns kids' lives around. Now, are you going to solve all the criminal justice problems with Prop 49 or after-school programs? The answer is no. But is it part of the solution? Absolutely. I can tell you right now that if you're going to solve the criminal justice problem in America, you're not going to do it by the electric chair, you're going to do it by the high chair. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to change where America's going on the crime rate, if you want to reduce the number of people we have in our jails, if you want to seriously impact the 2.2 million people who are in our nation's prisons and jails, you don't do it by building more jail cells. You do it by investing in kids today. You do that by mentoring programs. You do that by working with our churches, with our schools, programs like Boys and Girls Clubs, like after-school sports, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and foster parents. You get involved with a kid's life today, you change that child forever. I can tell you that the need in America is great. And we can make a significant impact on where the future of America is going by getting involved with our kids today. What Mr. Schwarzenegger is putting forward as Prop 49 is not the answer, but it is one incredible answer. And so while there's an array of things that you can choose from to change the lives of our children in this country, we want to do something positive between now and November the 5th. Get involved with Prop 49. Here's a man who's invested $1 million of his own money. Here's a man who's put his name on the line for a program that he knows works city by city as he's traveled around America. Now wants to mandate it in the state of California. And if it happens in the state of California, it will happen across the nation. I guarantee you, the reason I partnered with him, the reason that I am so appreciative of the work that he is doing, and the work that you all are doing as a community, is because we're going to change the criminal justice system in America, we're going to do it one kid at a time. And that's an incredible benefit for me as a cop and as a father. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for the work that you're doing, for the leadership that you're showing, for allowing this debate to take place. God bless you all.
Thank you, Sheriff. We're really blessed here in this county to have a sheriff with such insight and compassion. Salute. I'd like to invite up to the podium next the co-founder of the Hispanic 100, good friend, also Randy.
Fantastic to speak here at the Hispanic 100 Club. This is a very powerful organization. It's a very rich organization. You all have a lot of money, you're successful. And what's so wonderful about it is that you're using the power and the money to improving your communities. And that is the most wonderful thing that anyone can do, so congratulations. That's a great honor for me to be here today. I, of course, feel really comfortable anyway being with the I've done already so many movies in Mexico. 4 movies in Mexico, including, you know, Predator and Conan and Raw Deal and all. I mean, there's a lot of things that we've done and I love it down there. So anyway, it is great to be with you. I also want to say, thank you very much, Leslie Sanchez, for the wonderful speech. You did a great job. You right on the community with your message about education and after-school programs. So thank you for speaking to your speech. And also Congressman Eddie Royce, it's great to have you also here. And Congressman Chris Cox, it's always great to have you part of our effort to improve education and after-school programs. And then my buddy, Sheriff Carona. I just want you to know that Sheriff Carona is giving me this belt buckle. He gave me the belt buckle a month ago. He says, the normal people wear this little curly mantle. You are you're a true stud. You're the man. You got to wear belt buckle like I wear. Mike is a terrific guy. I've gotten to know him over a year ago when I asked Sheriff Baca to organize a meeting amongst all the powerful sheriffs of the state of California, so I can talk to them about my after-school initiative idea. And they all were sitting on that round, on that oval table, and I was talking for 20 minutes about my initiative, and they were all looking at me, nodding their heads. And then I was finished with my speech, and I said, I'm here to give you endorsement. And Sheriff Mike Carona jumped out of his chair and he says, I endorse this initiative. It is the greatest idea. This is what the state of California needs. I'm 100% behind you. I'm your partner in this. We go all the way together on this. And at that moment, every sheriff around the table said, we're going to endorse this initiative. He was the leader. Thank you very much. Terminator 3. The story, I'm not allowed to talk about it. I just can tell you that it is very suspenseful and a very frightening kind of a plot. And this one again, I travel from the future, from the year 2029 back to the present time, just in time to save Martha Stewart. Nobody is so crazy. Come here today to talk about education, to talk about after-school programs. And you know what the first question I got when I walked in there, in this room where we took the pictures? The first question was, you must be arguing a lot with your wife. She's a Democrat. That's the first question I get. Tell me about those arguments. Must be incredible fights. Then on the table here, the same question like from you. I would like to be a little fly in your house, you said. We have those arguments between the Democratic wife and the Republican husband. I mean, the fact of the matter is, just so you know, I want to answer this question so that everyone knows, that my wife and I, we never argue about politics. Especially since I've been sleeping in the garage. No arguments at home, nothing. The bottom line really is that when I married my wife, I remember very clearly when I was in front of the altar, and I said, take this woman in sickness and in health. Being a Democrat is a sickness. The bottom line is that all of you know me for my movies. You know me for being the action hero, battling it out with the terrorists, with the mafia, battling it out with the gangsters, even with the devil in End of Days. But the fight that I'm most proud of fighting is the fight for the children, the fight in real life for the children. Because I believe that the children in this country need the most help. I've been involved in children's issues now since the 70s, when I got involved in Special Olympics. I don't know how many of you know about Special Olympics, but it's an organization that my mother-in-law started, and it helps people with mental retardation. I've been working with them and creating weight training programs and fitness programs to help them. I became the national coach for Special Olympics. Then later on, I became the international coach and the ambassador for Special Olympics. I've been traveling around the world promoting tolerance for people with mental retardation, promoting equality and respect. And then later on, I was appointed by President Bush, the 41st, for becoming the chairman of the President's Council on Physical Fitness in Sports. For being the chairman is the responsibility to promote health and fitness amongst the youngsters in America. So I traveled all 50 states, from school to school, from state to state, and in every state we had fitness summits, and we met with the governors and with the educational leaders and the health leaders to make sure that the kids get the proper training and good nutrition, and that we're talking with them about healthy lifestyles and staying away from drugs and from alcohol and tobacco. But during that time when I traveled through all the states, and I went to hundreds of different schools, especially in inner city schools, I saw that besides them having a lack of exercise and sports programs during the day and not the proper nutrition, I also saw that in the afternoon, those children had nowhere to go. At 3 o'clock, the school closed the doors, and the kids were out there by themselves. More than half of the children had no one to supervise them, no adult or no parents. They were floating around in the neighborhood, basically home alone. When I saw that there was no one that mentored those kids to help those kids with their education, or that they could just do sports field, I felt very, very passionate about helping those children. So as soon as I was finished with my job as the chairman of the President's Council on Fitness, I made it my responsibility to go out and work for kids to promote after-school programs. I started in East Los Angeles with Danny Menendez. And we built the Holland Youth Center. He had a program that was called the Inner City Games. And I helped him build that from a small little community center to a huge, giant community center. So that there's boxing rings, there's weight training, there's computer labs, places where they can do their homework, where they can study and all those things. And as we built that, now thousands of children are coming through this computer center. When I saw the success of this community center, I asked Annie Hernandez if he wouldn't mind that I make this program national. And so I created, with his blessing, the National Inner City Games Foundation, which was 8 years ago. And now, 8 years later, we are providing in 15 different cities after-school programs to over 200,000 children. The difference that you see in those children, how they change, how they all of a sudden now shooting hoops rather than shooting dope and shooting guns, how they're getting smarter, how we can see the reduction in juvenile crime in the cities, and the increase in student performance. All of those things. It is a remarkable thing when you see, when you pay attention to the children, when you help them, how much success you can see right away in return. But of course, in these last 3 years, we've learned that this is not just a problem in the cities, that this is a problem nationwide, no matter what neighborhood we look at today. If it is kids coming from a rich neighborhood or from a poor neighborhood, any child that is home alone after school, between 3 and 6 o'clock, is in danger. If they're unsupervised by an adult or unsupervised by a parent, they're in danger. And this is why the law enforcement community is identifying this as the danger zone for children. And it was our sheriff by Carona was talking about the statistics. It is between 3 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon, when it's at the peak hours for juvenile crime, for teenage pregnancy, for gang-related violence. It's also between 3 and 6 o'clock when the kids most likely get involved in alcohol, smoking, and in drugs. And this costs our community and our state a fortune. because we don't take care of our children. It costs us a fortune, and we are ruining lives. We are arresting those children. You hear how many kids there are in prison. Anyone on the state level and on the federal level can tell you how many kids there are in prison. For no reason, just because they screwed up one time, because there was no one there caring for them. I say, let's not arrest our children. Let's arrest our problem. That is the bottom line there. We have to pay attention to that. We have to make sure that there are more after-school programs, because we realize what has happened in the last 20 years. More and more parents are working. There's in California alone, more than half of the children that come from homes where there's a single parent that is working, or both of the parents are working. That means there's 1 million plus children at the age of 15 and below that are out there floating around by themselves, getting into trouble. Now, I know that we can do much better than that. I think that our children deserve much better than that. But of course, when the law enforcement community did the lobbying in Sacramento, and when the after-school program providers did the lobbying in Sacramento to get more funding for after-school programs, what did they get in return? Nothing. Nothing. We have now $170 million available for after-school programs, which covers 1/6 of all the elementary and middle schools in the state of California. 1/6. Nothing happened. And because nothing happened, we have the power, the constitutional power, we as people, to go and create an initiative where we can go directly to the people and ask the people, what do you think? Well, let me tell you something, that we have already seen the polls. We are 20+% ahead. The people are speaking loud and clear, that the politicians many times are out of step. The people want more after-school programs. And this initiative is going to win. Proposition 49 is going to win. So we have after-school programs in every elementary and middle school. And what we did with our initiative was we paid really close attention to make sure that it is a bipartisan initiative. Because the children don't care if this is a Republican idea or if this is a Democratic idea. Who cares? Let us all work together. So we went out and we reached out to the teachers' unions, we reached out to the Parent Teachers Association, to all the business organizations, California Business Roundtable, Chamber of Commerce, every organization you can think of, all the way to the right of the Howard Charters Taxpayers Association. So we went all the way from the left to all the way to the right. We have over 80 organizations now endorsing this initiative. Over 80 organizations. From the Democratic organizations to Republican type of organizations. It has never happened in the history of California that many organizations were behind an initiative. And the reason is because our initiative says that we don't raise new taxes and we won't take any money away from existing programs. And what we're doing is that this initiative and this program is getting funded from future growth in revenue. As soon as the state is getting bringing in an additional $1.5 billion in revenue, from that point on the trigger starts working and the program gets funded. So it gets funded from future growth in revenue. And because of that, this initiative is so popular. This is why so many people are going to vote for it. So we are very, very excited about that. And I just say always, we have to pay attention to our children. We are the most powerful state in the union. The 90s have been the most unbelievable economic growth that we have witnessed. And our education amongst our children went down. The crime went up. Have we invested in our children wisely? No, we didn't. Because how could the economy go up? How could we experience the greatest economic boom in decades? And then at the same time we see everything with children go downhill. Because we haven't paid enough attention. And this is why this initiative and this program is a great investment, because for every dollar you spend as a taxpayer on an after-school program, the taxpayer gets $3 in return. $3 in return, so that's the greatest investment ever. So let's all work together and make sure to help our children, to keep the children in school and out of trouble. Vote yes on Proposition 49. Thank you very much.
that Mr. Schwarzenegger is the activist that he is. I think very emblematic, if you will, of the force that immigrants and the good that immigrants can bring to our country. And many of the Hispanic areas, he is really one of us. I appreciate it very much. At this point, I'd like to invite Francisco Valle and Joyce Alvarado to come to the stage, make a presentation and announcement.
About 3 minutes ahead of schedule, let me take 10 seconds for a quick story. Arnold showed you his belt buckle. What you don't know is the sheriff that labored long and hard to come up with what to put on that belt buckle. But I went in as a beautiful chief of staff and I said, I've got it. From America's top cop to the kindergarten cop. And said, are you crazy? And actually said, are you bothered? I said, this guy's also known as the Terminator. I will not do that to myself. So he put something befitting there, and speaking of befitting, as a co-founder of the Hispanic 100, I am proud to announce to you, Mr. Schwarzenegger, that we are very proud to endorse Proposition 49. That this will not only benefit the children in the Latino community, but all the children of our community, and we thank you for your leadership, sir. Thank you. The sheriff's not going to be happy because he doesn't walk away with a check today, but Mr. Schwarzenegger does. We very proudly would like to give you a small token in hopes that it helps to benefit our cause. Thank you. No, none of these are right. Let me tell you something, we're here to stay down. He gets $5,000, he's proud to do it, whichever check it is.
Instinctively, I went with a bigger number. The 5,000 must be mine. I want to thank Hispanic 100 for their great endorsement and for your great contribution and for your generosity. Thank you very much. Thank you. You got it, guys? Make sure to focus. Very nice. Good. Got it.
Thank you, Arnold.
You're welcome.
Thank you. As you know, part of the mission statement of our organization states the Hispanic 100 will be a conduit to facilitate and implement the strategic solution of issues critical to the Hispanic community. Here in Santa Ana, California, one of the challenges that the local PTA faces in some schools is the fact that it doesn't have enough funds to participate in PTA statewide events, such as the yearly reflection program. This prevents our Hispanic students to showcase their talents. This year, we learned through David Padilla, one of the founders of the Hispanic 100, the Saddleback High School here in Santa Ana was facing exactly this situation. We also learned that Ms. Araceli Casales was willing to organize the reflection program, and we could provide funds to cover the expenses of the program. Within a week, we secured the funds thanks to the generosity of our people. And needless to say, the event was a great success due to the team effort put forward by Mrs. Casal, the students, the parents, the teachers, and the school administration. And some of these kids not only won locally, but they went all the way to the state level contest. Think about it. It hasn't been for these kids could not have been participated in this program. Now, Casal is the person that organized it, and Mr. Ersan is the PTA president actually here in Santana. There was a celebration that took place right after the success of the program. And at that event, if you recall, I mentioned to the students there that this coming year, they didn't need to worry about whether there was going to be funds to fund the program. But I asked them, and I challenged them to start thinking about what kind of projects they were going to submit to the program. So, well, on behalf of the Hispanic 100 group, I would like to present to you this check to cover the cost of this school year's reflection program. And we would like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to be of assistance to you and your team.
I'm sorry to say that he's not here, so you're going to just give it to him. I know he's good. He's in school. This is the official jacket. Official jacket for 283.
It's a little tight, Arnold.
Thank you very much for your generosity, and thank you for being such a great fighter for Proposition 49 and after school programs. Thank you very much.
Arnold's inspired me here. We have another foundation called the Carona Foundation that works with at-risk youth. And since everybody's in the giving mode, we'll throw $5,000 into this program as well. So, on behalf of Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator,
It's turned out to be a much better day than we really anticipated. On behalf of the Hispanic 100, I want to extend our gratitude to all of our speakers today who've come, two of them a long distance and one who's had a very busy day, I'm sure. And we appreciate their attendance here and helping us out. On behalf of the Hispanic 100, please look forward to our next announcement. We hope to have another forum sometime early after the year starts. We'll keep you posted on that. I want to thank everyone for joining us today.